Vayivater Yaakov levado. Yaakov was left all alone as he confronted the Malach Sarosh el Esav. There are two different midrashim which relate to this aloneness. Okay, one midrash points to the fact that it is the aloneness which caused Yaakov Avinu to run into this challenge, to run into the nisayon of Sarosh el Esav. That loneliness, lo tov heyot adam levado, it's not good to be alone. Being alone puts you in a place of danger. Being alone is challenging, and that it is the aloneness which causes the nisayon. But there's another midrash. There's another midrash which points to the fact that compares the levado of Yaakov Avinu to an aspect of godliness. Vayivater Yaakov levado, just as a Kadosh Baruch Hu is considered a yachid and levad, so too Yaakov is considered levad. What we point to, as the Rav points to in Lonely Man of Faith, it's an existential reality of the fact that when we know that we're levad, that levadness, that koach of realizing, of recognizing ourselves as an individual, is actually what gives Yaakov the strength to be matzliach in the nisayon, to be able to say, Ein hadavar talui ela bi. Sometimes when we're in a group, as much as we're social animals, and we need a tzibur, and we need a tzibur for growth, at the same time, there's an aspect of where when we're in a tzibur, so we sometimes rely on others and don't take the responsibility ourselves. So the question is, what happens when we have a midah or a scenario which at the same time causes the challenge and at the same time gives us a tremendous level and degree of empowerment? So one approach to a situation like that is balance. Make sure not to be too much alone. Make sure you have some aspect of alone. Okay? I think there are another two ways to approach a situation where there's a tension. One is what we say, appropriateness. Is this a time for aloneness, or is this a time for being part of a community and leaning on a chabura and leaning on a chevra? In this specific situation of Yaakov, we don't have that option either, because it is specifically the levad which creates this situation. We're in one situation which both needs the levad and is challenged by the levad. So I'd like to take a slightly different type of approach, okay? Not one of balance and not one of appropriate application, but rather an aspect of perspective, okay? Sometimes when we're in a group, so that buoys, that creates a certain standard which stops us from falling and stops us from dropping down. But it also, to a certain extent, can create a certain norm and a certain expectation and stop us from flying. Okay? When we approach a community purely in terms of what it gives us and how it supports us, then there are certain limitations in which it creates, and it comes to a stira of the greatness of the individual. But when we look at a community not only in terms of what it gives us, but we look at our responsibility of what we give to a chabura, what we give to a community, then that puts a responsibility, specifically being part of a community, creates a greater responsibility of us being an individual and exhibiting our unique responsibilities as an individual. That's the way that we can both take advantage of community and express our koach and our individuality to rise above and to lead. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should be able to be part of a chabura which gives us security, which gives us support, but also be manhigim, which allows us to be individuals and levado with responsibility. Adkan, have an amazing Shabbos.
Good Shabbos, good Shabbos, good Shabbos.